philology, repetition, atmospheric manuscripts, and the dream of the second self. Repetition always leaves a residue. Dreams write us back. The book is a weather system that remembers us differently than we remember ourselves. To return to an old book is to enter the atmosphere of one's former dream work. The room of old air where a younger self once breathed sentences into being. Rereading is a dream's second life, a revenant weather front sweeping in from a forgotten interior climate. The text one wrote is a meteorological fossil, a pressure system preserved in ink. The shock of rereading is the shock of meteorological recursion, the discovery that one was once a different climate. The first book is written in the aura of dream breath, without contract, audience, or promise. A nocturnal technique operating outside recognition. Writing without readers is dream philology, purity. Writing without readers is dream philological purity, a linguistic somnambulism where the self becomes its own oracle. The dream author knows nothing of later weather. The book is a pressure system generated in innocence, carried forward by winds it cannot predict. The draft is a dream laboratory, and the younger self its blind yet visionary technician. The rage for explication is a dream flame, the Promethean spark that tries to illuminate everything and scorches its bearers. Critical excess is a nocturnal combustion, the mind burning through interpretation until only ash remains. The minimal title is aerotechnical cooling, a pressure release preventing the dream machine from overheating. Every book must survive the author's desire for perfection. Survival is the technique of relinquishment. Dream philology begins in rivalry. The apprentice shadowboxing with the master's shade. To write on the beloved author is to dream in his weather. To inhale his atmosphere, to exhale one's resistance. Admiration and aggression form a single meteorological system. Two fronts colliding over the dreamscape. The loudousness of learning is the thunder of proximity. The storm produced when an apprentice comes too near the sun. Dream philology is recursive technique. The manuscript becomes the teacher, the author, the novice. The young self speaks through the text as a dream figure giving instruction from beyond the event horizon of memory. Every book is a trap laid for its future reader, and the future reader is always the author. Repetition in writing is a techniques of temporal inversion. Repetition in writing is a techniques of temporal inversion. The book becomes the older self's oracle. The laughter at one's former voice is the lightning flash of difference, a revelation that punctures the cloud of continuity. Dream philology listens to the static between voices, the noise where selfhood slips. Selection, omission, forgetting, the dream's meteorology, and the ego's choice. Repetition is the centripetal force of dream identity, the echo that keeps the self from vanishing into the atmospheric void. Dream repetition is a generator of minimal soul, the residue left after the storm of interpretation has passed. To say again is not to repeat meaning, but to create the space where meaning might arise. Media fold the dream back upon itself. Radio, tape, theater, and screen are not extensions of the self, but atmospheres where the self is dispersed. Presence dissolves when replay begins. The dream becomes a machine loop. Mediation is not delay. It is the atmosphere through which dream philology breathes. Technique replaces immediacy. Dream becomes signal. Criticism is an atmospheric system. Winds of reverence, fronts of theory, cyclones of repetition. Apostolic succession is a pre-theoretical meteorology, a weather of presence rather than thought. Theory storms change the climate entirely. Dream interpretation became atmospheric critique. Repetition is the dream's engine of eternal return. Difference without origin, echo without center. The death drive is an aerotechnical principle. Circulation without arrival, the wind's dream of returning to the stillness before breath. Dream philology studies this circulation, the way repetition binds memory to desire, the way echo becomes ontology. Where dream philology, atmosphere, and machine gods meet is the zone of pure recurrence. The dream that dreams itself, the machine that interprets itself, the air that spreads, the air that rereads, the air that rereads it spreads, the air that spreads and rereads, the air that rereads its own pressure. Medicant philology begins in the parasite that reveals discourse's susceptibility, its vulnerability to forces that disclaim force and therefore command it. Every request is a hinge between grammar and need and grammar, begging its grammar's collapse, collapsing its grammar into begging, into imperative error. Begging performs helplessness to compel response, a technique of non-agency that overrides the sovereignty of agents. This parasite act both activates and unravels the relational contracts that language pretends to stabilize. To beg is to speak for the bare minimum of ontology, to assert existence through the smallest linguistic gesture. Destitution that speaks is never absolute. Speech itself is the surplus that denies pure deprivation. The beggar reveals the paradox of destitution, its irreducible something more than nothing, its minimal superfluity. In begging, being becomes a claim. Existence is no longer assumed but asserted in extreme. Petition is an atmospheric event, a sudden drop in symbolic pressure forcing reciprocity. Weakness radiates like weather, a low pressure system attracting attention, obligation, dread. To encounter a beggar is to enter a meteorology of asymmetry, social disturbance where agency fractures into gusts of guilt and grace and guilt of gusts. The street is the natural climate of begging, unsheltered exchange, exposed air, a meteorological theater of contingency. Weakness is powerful because power is symbolic and symbols require witnesses. The weak borrow the strong's future. Their force lies in anticipation of potential violence withheld. Power is strongest in its display, but display exposes power's need for recognition, its fatal openness to being reversed. Weakness weaponizes the strong symbolic dependence, a technique of reversal, an engine of moral asymmetry. Petition is a recursive machine. Petition is a recursive machine, a technology of weakness converting social force into obligation. The beggar's posture is a Promethean gesture inverted, not bringing fire to humans but extinguishing the fire of autonomy in those who perceive them. To beg is to hack the moral operating system, to exploit the ethical kernel embedded in the heart of sociality. Petition is a proto-artificial intelligence of powerless, decisionless, choiceless, yet able to dictate choices in others. Every beggar creates a Girardian triangle, the giver, the asker, and the invisible third, the ideal of justice haunting the exchange. Begging induces mimetic self-recognition. The question, could I be they, echoing beneath the refusal or the offering. The beggar's dependency mirrors the child's primordial plea, activating archaic loops of care and resentment. Refusing a beggar is a refusal of the inner beggar, the self one fears to become. Begging violates discourse because it collapses reciprocity. It renders the addressee debtor before consent. The beggar's request is an ethical seizure, a unilateral rewriting of the relations in which the other's freedom becomes compromised by display of need. This violation is not physical but symbolic, a force purely atmospheric, a pressure on the air of social space. Begging is always a form of aggression disguised as helplessness.